How's it going, everybody? Before we get this underway, I just want to let everybody know, everybody who's anticipating football review with Deshaun and I, we have filmed it. It just needs to be edited. My goal is to get that done at least before baseball season, sometime this month. I am incredibly busy right now. In fact, fortunate enough to film this small video talking about the Central Washington University men's basketball team. That's right, it is conference tournament time again. And this time, again, Central's men's basketball team will be competing in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference Tournament for the third year in a row. Just to recap, Central has clinched a conference berth for the every year that the GNAC has been around. So GNAC tournament's been around, excuse me. So that streak keeps going. Well, one of these years, the women's team is going to make it. Every year, I keep hoping and thinking that this might be the year, but unfortunately, that was not the case. But shout out to the women too. Good luck next year, and hopefully we can see some post-season action from you next season. So here is how the Great Northwest Athletic Conference men's basketball standings played out from bottom to top. In last place was Simon Fraser, a conference record of 1-17, overall record of 6-20. Western Oregon in 9th, 5-13 conference, 10-16 overall. St. Martin's edged out Western Oregon. They were also 10-16 overall, but they were 6-12 in conference play. The team that was chasing Central for a while, Northwest Nazarene, 13-13 overall, 7-11 in conference play. And Central was able to edge them out by one game in the 6th spot to clinch the final spot in the tournament with an overall record of 14-12 and a conference record of 8-10. And then the rest in 5th, we've got Montana State Billings, the defending GNAC tournament champions from last year. Alaska Fairbanks in 4th, Alaska Anchorage 3rd, Seattle Pacific 2nd, and Western Washington, the defending NCAA Division II men's basketball champions, leading the charge with a conference record of 17-1 and an overall record of 26-1. Wow! So we only lost one game all season. So to recap Central's year, it was kind of when following them this year, it was kind of hard for them to get going. They would have a couple great games, and then they would have a couple poor games. They would pull a great upset, and they would get upset themselves. So, which resulted in the 14-12 overall record. So they hovered around the 500 mark this year. Central was 1-4 against top 25 opponents. They beat Alaska Anchorage when they were in the top 25. We'll go over that in a second. But then they lost to SPU and Western Washington twice when they were ranked. And to give you kind of an idea of one of the reasons why Central's year was so difficult is that Western Washington and Seattle Pacific were ranked pretty much from the beginning of the season, and we're talking about at least in the top 6. When Central played Western and Seattle Pacific, they were ranked anywhere between 6th and 2nd, if you want to combine the two schools. Looking at the rankings, the NCAA coaches poll, we got West Liberty in the #1 team, Western Washington in 2nd. Previous ranking was 3rd, and Seattle Pacific's their previous ranking was 4th. They're now in the 3rd best team in the nation. This is going into this week, the week of March 5th. So it's really been hard to get going for any GNAC team. Even Alaska Anchorage, they began to crop up into the top 25, and then they fell out. So, which is good for the conference because we're getting national recognition. It's something you really don't see from the Pacific Northwest, unless you're Gonzaga. But so it's good for the conference, tough for the Wildcats. This last season, Central was led by GNAC newcomer of the year, Mark McLaughlin. He averaged 22.4 points a game, and Jordan Kobe with 11.3 points a game per game. Nate Walker led the team in rebounds with 5.8. Brandon McGee brought up the rear in second with 5.5 rebounds per game. And Jordan Starr led the team throughout the year in assists with 75 assists overall. So the way this tournament is going to work, it is like last year. The format did not change. First year, top 8 teams went to the GNAC tournament, and this year it's the top 6 like last year. Central will play the University of Alaska Anchorage, and it will be tomorrow, which is Thursday, March 7th at 5:15 p.m. And that will be followed by the number 4 seeded Alaska Fairbanks Nanooks against the defending tournament champions Montana State University Billings Yellow Jackets, and that will be at 7:30. On Friday, the winner of the CWU UAA game will play SPU, and that will be followed by the winner of Alaska Fairbanks and Montana State. The winner of that game will play Western Washington. The championship game will be played on Saturday at 7:30, and all these games are going to take place at Marcus Pavilion at St. Martin's University down in Lacey, Washington. I say down because this is being broadcast from Seattle. So let's take a look at Central's opponent, which is Alaska Anchorage. These two have a history with each other in the tournament. They've met each other in the tournament every time since this has been around, going back to 2011. Central won the first game in 2011 to clinch the GNAC tournament and a berth in the NCAA Division II playoffs. And last year, AAU beat the Wildcats pretty solidly. The Wildcats were just coming off a victory, a 1-point victory over the Seattle Pacific University Falcons, and AAU took care of business against the Wildcats in round 2. And so the all-time record in conference play, and this tournament play that is 1-1. So let's recap the season series, which was split. Both the home teams won the season series. The first game took place on January 5th. Alaska Anchorage was ranked 25th at the time. And this game pretty much knocked the Seawolves out of the top 25. Central won in Ellensburg by a score of 81-72. Kyle Fossum for Alaska Anchorage scored 24 points to lead all scorers, and Mike McKelvey, led the team in rebounds with 4. Central Washington was led by Mark McLaughlin with 23 points. Derek Davies was next with 14. Kobe Jordan with 11, and Nate Walker with 10. Brandon McGee added 9 rebounds. A couple weeks later, AAU avenged their loss, and won by a score of 98-61. This game took place on January 1st in Anchorage, Alaska. We got Kyle Fossum leading the way with 26 points again, and again he led all score. And Tecum Stafford had 18. Fossum also had 9 rebounds to lead the Seawolves. For Central Washington, they had 4 players in double figures. McLaughlin again with 20, Kobe 15, Derek Davis with 13, and Nate Walker with 11. And Nate Walker also led the team in rebounds. So, again, the winner of this game will play Seattle Pacific on Friday. So, unfortunately, I am going to miss the game, so I won't be able to do live scores on my Facebook and MySpace accounts and Twitter accounts. However, I will recap the game. I don't necessarily know when it's going to be, but I will recap it sometime within the next 24, 48 hours after the game. If the Wildcats move on, then I'll be talking about 2 games instead of just 1. So I just want to give you guys the heads up. Let's go Cats. And at this point, anything can happen. You know, last year, the Wildcats clinched the tournament on the last game of the season, and then they were able to pull the upset of SBU despite a controversial ending, and they got into the second round. So that being said, anything can happen, particularly since the Wildcats lost their season finale against St. Martin's. So I'm pretty sure the seniors don't want to end their collegiate career on that. So that will do it for the Central coverage. Go Cats! And again, I'll recap the game as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and let's go get another victory. Let's take down the Seawolves.